How did one afternoon end with my bags on the curb and a stranger handing me papers in front of everyone? Why did my husband stay calm for weeks, then make one lawful move that changed where I could sleep that same night? My name is Melisande Rook, and I always thought people should understand my side first. I was 34, and I worked as a patient coordinator at a dental clinic. My job was simple on paper, but it was loud and messy in real life. Phones rang, people complained, dentists ran late. Every day felt like a test, and I told myself I was the only one who could hold things together. Ethan, my husband, was 36. He worked in IT compliance. He liked rules and neat lines. He liked checklists and quiet mornings. Sometimes I said he married his routine, not me. I said it like a joke, but I meant it more than I should. That week started like most weeks. I woke up early and looked at Ethan's face while he slept. He looked calm, almost too calm. I felt a small anger in my chest, like he was winning some private game. I told myself I needed more life than this. I told myself I needed to feel seen. At the clinic, I moved fast. I smiled for patients. I fixed schedule problems. I did 3 things at once, and I liked the power of it. My coworker, Talia, asked why I looked so happy. I said I had energy today. She said it was nice to see. Then my phone buzzed. It was a message from Bryce Holloway. Bryce was my ex. We dated years before Ethan. Bryce had a way of sounding warm, even when he said nothing important. He wrote that he was back in town for work and asked if I still lived near the river. I stared at the screen longer than I should. I told myself it was not a big deal. I told myself a message was just a message. Still, my hands felt hot. I wrote back that I was busy with work. He answered that he remembered I always said that. Talia walked in while I was looking at my phone. I turned the screen down fast. She raised her eyebrows. I said it was a patient issue. She said okay, but her mouth stayed tight like she did not believe me. Later, I stepped into the supply hallway and called Bryce back. I did it because texting felt too slow. I did it because I wanted to hear a voice that did not ask me for receipts or plans. Bryce asked how my life was. I said it was fine. He asked if I was really fine. I said marriage was harder than people admit. He said he missed how I used to laugh. I kept my voice low. I watched the door like someone might catch me doing something wrong. It made me feel young and clever. I told myself Ethan would not even care. I told myself Ethan never looked at me the way Bryce did. When I got off the call, I went back to the desk and pretended everything was normal. But the day felt different. I felt like I had a secret pocket in my life, and I could put my hand in it any time I wanted. At lunch, I met my friend Cassidy at a downtown coffee shop near the clinic. Cassidy worked in social media, so she lived for stories. She asked how Ethan was. I said he was being difficult lately. She asked what he did. I said he questioned me about my time like I was a child. Cassidy said a man should not act like a manager. She said men always got scared when women grew. I liked that. It sounded strong. I repeated it out loud like it was my own thought. I said, Ethan wanted comfort, not a real woman. Cassidy smiled and said I deserved fun. I told her Ethan was good on paper. I said he paid bills on time and never forgot appointments. I said he also acted like feelings were a math problem. Cassidy asked if Ethan still romanced me. I rolled my eyes and said Ethan thought doing dishes was romance. I could have said something kind too. I could have said Ethan was steady and loyal. I did not say that. I wanted Cassidy to look shocked for me. I wanted someone to say I was right. When I went home that evening, Ethan was in the kitchen cutting vegetables for dinner. He did not look up right away. He asked how my day was. I said it was busy. He nodded like he already knew. A few minutes later, he asked why I came home later than usual. He asked it calmly, like he was checking a time slot. I felt my face tighten. I said the clinic was short-staffed. He said he understood, but he also said he saw my location near downtown. I acted offended. I asked why he checked my location. He said it was still shared on our phones. He said he did not check it. He just noticed when he opened maps for traffic. I told him that sounded like checking. He asked if I wanted to turn it off. I said that was not the point. He asked if I met anyone. I laughed like he was silly. I said he had a jealous mind. I said he watched too many videos online. He asked why I was so angry at a normal question. I said because I was tired of being treated like a suspect. While I talked, I watched his eyes. I wanted him to get loud. I wanted him to slam a cabinet. I wanted him to show a bad side so I could point to it. But he stayed still. He said he did not want to fight. He said he only wanted honesty. I told him honesty was that I worked hard, and he did not respect it. I told him he should be grateful I still came home at all. Ethan went quiet. He rinsed the knife. He put it down with care. After dinner, we sat on the couch, but the space between us felt wide. Ethan asked if we could plan a date night. He said we could pick a restaurant and leave phones at home. I said that sounded like a trap. He asked why it would be a trap. I said because he would use it to question me again. He asked what I needed. I said I needed him to stop acting like a guard. I said I needed him to stop making me feel small. Ethan said he was sorry if he made me feel that way. Then he asked again where I was at lunch. I answered fast. I said I ate at the clinic. It was not true. The lie was small, but it tasted bitter. I swallowed it anyway. Later, when Ethan went upstairs, I stayed in the kitchen and checked my phone. Bryce had sent another message. He asked if I wanted to catch up soon, just to talk. He wrote that he was free tomorrow after 7. I stared at the words. I could have ignored them. I could have shown Ethan and laughed, but I did not. I told myself Ethan pushed me into this corner. I told myself a conversation was not a crime. Upstairs, I heard a soft beep from Ethan's phone in the bedroom, like an app starting and stopping. I paused. I listened. Then I told myself I was imagining things. I deleted one message thread I did not like, then I kept the one that made me feel wanted. I typed back to Bryce that maybe we could meet, and I added a smile. I put my phone down and told myself I was still a good wife. I just needed air. The next day, I kept my face calm at work, like nothing was happening. I moved patients through forms and payments, and I smiled with my professional smile. Inside, I felt busy and bright. I told myself I was finally choosing myself. Bryce sent another message near the end of my shift. He asked if I was still okay for a quick talk later in the week. I told him I was not sure. He wrote that I always liked control, even back then. I did not like that sentence, but I also liked that he remembered me. When I got home, Ethan was in the living room with Avery. Our son was building a small tower with blocks. Ethan asked how my day went. I said it was long. He asked if I wanted tea. I said no. I watched them together and felt a strange pinch, like the picture was too perfect and I was outside of it. Ethan told Avery it was time to wash hands for dinner. Avery asked if I could help with the tower first. I said I was tired and he should ask his dad. Ethan did not react. He just helped Avery put the last block on top, and Avery smiled like it was a prize. After dinner, Ethan asked if we could go for a walk by the river on Saturday. He said the weather would be mild, and Avery could ride his scooter. I said sure, but I said it like I was doing him a favor. In my head, I told myself he needed to earn my time. Saturday came, and we went to the riverside promenade. There were families, dogs, and couples holding coffee cups. I walked a little ahead of Ethan. I did it on purpose. I wanted him to chase me, even if it was small. Ethan stayed beside Avery instead. At one point, Ethan asked if we could talk for a minute. He asked it like a normal person, not like a judge. I said there was nothing to talk about. He said he felt a distance from me and he did not know why. I said he was dramatic. I said life was busy and he expected romance like a movie. He asked if I was angry with him. I said I was not angry. I said I was just tired of being managed. He asked what he did that felt like managing. I said he asked questions. He said questions were normal in a marriage. I said his questions had a tone, and I did not like it. Ethan said he missed us. He said he wanted to feel like a team again. I said a team needs two people who try. I said he only tried when he was scared. He asked what he was scared of. I said he was scared of losing control. He looked at me like he did not know what to say. Then he nodded once, slow. Avery rolled his scooter into a puddle and splashed his shoes. Ethan laughed softly and said they would dry. I hated how calm Ethan sounded. I wanted him to show anger so I could feel right. Instead, he held Avery's hand and kept walking. On the way back, Ethan asked if I wanted to plan something with both families next week, like a dinner. He said it might help everyone feel close. I agreed fast, because I liked public places. Public places gave me witnesses. I told myself if Ethan tried to shame me in public, people would see him for what he was. The dinner was at a family restaurant with a long table. My mother, Janelle, came early. My sister Darla came with her. Ethan's mom, Ruth, came with Ethan's brother, Noah. Avery sat between Ruth and Ethan because Ruth always made Avery feel safe with small questions and snacks. I walked in feeling strong. I wore a nice top and made sure my hair looked done. I told myself I looked like a wife who had everything together. Ethan smiled when he saw me, but it was not warm. It was polite, like a work smile. While we waited for food, my mother asked how work was. I said it was stressful and Ethan did not understand how hard I pushed myself. Ethan looked at his menu and did not argue. My mother said some men did not know how to support ambitious women. I agreed quickly. Cassidy arrived too, even though it was supposed to be family. I said it was fine because Cassidy was like family. I knew Ethan did not love that, and I liked the small discomfort on his face. Cassidy sat close to me and asked if Ethan was still being moody. I laughed and said Ethan had the emotional range of a toaster. A few people chuckled, and it gave me a rush. Ethan's brother Noah did not laugh. He looked down at his glass. Ruth's mouth tightened, but she stayed quiet. Ethan looked at me, then looked away. He asked the waiter about the kids' menu like nothing happened. I kept going. I told a story about Ethan forgetting to buy candles for my birthday last year. I said he was sweet but helpless with romance. I said he treated love like a checklist. My mother smiled wide and said Ethan should learn from me. Darla laughed, then stopped when she saw Ruth's face. Ethan asked me, calmly, if we could not do this tonight. He said it was supposed to be a nice dinner. I said I was only joking. I said he could not take a joke, and that was the problem. Cassidy said Ethan needed to relax. My mother said men loved to play victim when women spoke. Ethan did not raise his voice. He did not slam the table. He just put down his fork and said he would go wash his hands. He walked away and did not hurry. I watched him go and felt annoyed. It looked like he had control of himself, and I hated that. When Ethan came back, Ruth leaned toward him and spoke quietly. I did not hear the words, but I saw Ruth touch Ethan's wrist, gentle, like a warning or comfort. Ethan nodded once. Noah asked Ethan if he wanted to step outside after dinner. Ethan said he was fine. On the drive home, Avery fell asleep. Ethan carried him inside without waking him. I followed behind and said Ethan was making things tense. He asked what I meant. I said he acted sad on purpose in front of everyone to make me look cruel. He said he did not act. He just felt tired. In the kitchen, Ethan picked up the mail and sorted it. He placed a few envelopes in a neat pile. I noticed a folder on the counter that I had not seen before. It had a plain label, Household. I asked what it was. Ethan said it was just bills and notes. He said he wanted things organized. I said he was being weird. He said he liked being prepared. Later, I went to the bedroom and saw his phone on the nightstand. The screen lit up for a second with a missed call from no caller ID. He did not mention it. He came in, set his mug on the far side of the dresser, and changed into sleep clothes without speaking much. When he lay down, he faced away from me. I felt anger rise, and I told myself it was his fault. I told myself he was punishing me with silence. I told myself I had a right to find warmth somewhere else if he chose to be cold. In the dark, I opened my phone and typed a vague status online about living with control and not being seen. I watched the first likes appear. Cassidy commented with a heart. My mother shared it. I felt protected by the glow of my screen. Then I heard a soft beep again from Ethan's side of the room, like an app turning on and off. I held still and listened. Ethan did not move. The beep stopped. I stared at the ceiling and told myself it meant nothing, but my stomach felt tight anyway. The next week, I started to feel two lives inside one body. At the clinic, I was the calm voice. At home, I was the person who deserved more. I kept saying that sentence in my head like a prayer. On Tuesday, I told Ethan I wanted to start going to the gym again. I said it was for health. He said it sounded good and asked what time I planned to go. I said I would figure it out. He asked if I wanted him to watch Avery while I went. I said I could handle it, like he was insulting me by offering help. The gym was not far. The lobby smelled like rubber mats and sweet energy drinks. I signed in and pretended I was focused. I did not even go straight to the machines. I sat on a bench and checked my phone. Bryce had sent a short message that morning. He asked if I was free soon. He said he kept thinking about me. I told myself it was normal to like attention. I told myself Ethan had years of my attention and never acted grateful. I wrote back that my schedule was tight, but I could maybe talk after 7 on Thursday. Bryce answered fast and said he could come to me if it was easier. I felt my heart kick once. I looked around the lobby like someone might see the words on my screen. A woman walked past and smiled at me. I smiled back, trying to look normal. In my head, I said I was still a good person. I was just tired of being ignored. When I got home that night, Ethan was at the table with his laptop open. He had a spreadsheet up, but I could not see what it was for. It looked like columns and dates. He closed it when I walked in, not in a guilty way, just quick. I asked what he was doing. He said he was organizing some household things. He said it helped him feel less stressed. I laughed and said he was always stressed about nothing. He did not argue. He asked if I ate dinner yet. I said I grabbed something at work. He asked what I ate. I said I could not remember. He looked at me for a long second and then nodded once. That nod bothered me more than a fight. It felt like he was putting my words in a box and labeling it. Avery came into the kitchen in pajamas and asked if I would read with him. Ethan said he already read one book, but Avery wanted me too. I said I would do it later. Avery's face fell a little, and he went back to Ethan. Ethan did not look at me when he opened the book again. That night, Ethan did not touch me. He did not even try. I told myself he was punishing me. I told myself he wanted me to beg. I also noticed something else. He placed a folded blanket on the guest bed in the hallway, like it was ready for someone. I asked why the blanket was there. He said he sometimes fell asleep while reading and did not want to wake me. I said it was dramatic. He asked if I wanted him in the bedroom. I said I wanted him to act like a husband. He said he did not know what that meant anymore. I told him that was proof he was the problem. On Thursday, Ethan said he had a long day at the office on Friday and he might stay late for a compliance review. He said he would take Avery to his mum's house after school so I could rest. I acted annoyed. I said I could handle my own child. Ethan said he knew, but he also said Ruth offered, and Avery liked it there. I said fine, like I was granting permission. When Friday came, I watched Ethan pack Avery's small bag. He did it neatly, like he had done it before. Avery asked if I would come too. Ethan said it was just a short visit and they would be back later. I said I had work to finish. Avery hugged me quickly and ran to the car. Ethan paused at the door and asked if I would be home all evening. I said yes. He asked if anyone was coming over. I laughed and asked if he was my father. He said he was not trying to control me. He said he was trying to understand the truth. I said the truth was that he was exhausting. Ethan nodded once, then left without another word. The house felt too quiet after they were gone. I told myself the quiet was mine. I cleaned a little. I wiped counters that were already clean. I opened a window even though it was cold. My phone buzzed. Bryce asked if it was still okay to stop by. I typed yes before I could think. When Bryce arrived, he acted like he belonged. He said my home looked nice and asked if Ethan was around. I said Ethan was out. Bryce said it must be hard to live with someone who watched you. I told him Ethan did not watch me. He just tried. Bryce said I deserved a man who trusted me. I let that sentence sit between us like a gift. We stood in the hallway for a moment, and I felt a rush of power. I told myself I was taking back what Ethan stole, which was joy. Bryce moved closer and touched my arm. I did not pull away. I told myself I had warned Ethan for months that I needed more. Bryce and I went into the bedroom. I knew what it meant. I knew the line I was crossing. I also knew the bed was ours, and that made it sharper. I will not describe details, but I will say this. I chose that place on purpose. I told myself it proved Ethan did not own me. I told myself it was just a bed and I could wash sheets. After Bryce left, I stood in the bathroom and stared at myself. My face looked normal, and that scared me. I expected guilt to show like a bruise. It did not. I told myself that meant I was strong. I stripped the bedding fast and put it in the washer. I sprayed too much air freshener. I wiped surfaces again, like cleaning could rewrite time. Then I noticed the faint smell of toner coming from the office corner down the hall. It was light, but it was there, like a printer had been used. I walked over and saw the printer tray closed. Nothing was out. Still, the smell stayed in my nose. My phone buzzed again. Bryce wrote that he had a great time and that he missed me already. I stared at the message and felt a strange cold spot inside me. I did not delete it. I just locked my screen. Later, when Ethan and Avery came home, I acted cheerful. I asked Avery if he had fun. He said Grandma made pancakes. Ethan carried a small container of leftovers and set it in the fridge. He did not look tired. He looked calm, like a person who finished a task. Ethan asked how my evening was. I said it was quiet. He asked if anyone came by. I said no. The lie felt heavier this time. Ethan nodded again, that same slow nod. He did not accuse me. He did not raise his voice. He just washed his hands and went to help Avery brush teeth. The next morning, we all stopped at the supermarket. It was unplanned. Ethan said we needed milk and fruit for Avery's lunch. I walked behind them with a tight smile. At the checkout, I saw Ethan's phone screen light up for a second with a small notification. File uploaded successfully. He turned the screen down right away. I pretended not to notice. As we left, I saw a man near the entrance who looked like Bryce for a split second. My stomach jumped. It was not him. Still, my hands shook a little on the cart handle. Ethan glanced at me and asked if I was okay. I said I was fine and told him he was imagining problems again. Ethan did not answer. He just guided Avery toward the car, steady and quiet, like he was already walking on a path I could not see. On Monday, the clinic felt smaller. People looked at me like they knew something. I told myself they were only jealous because I had a life. Still, when I walked into the break room, the talking stopped for half a second. Talia was by the fridge. She asked if I was okay. I said I was fine and just tired. She said she saw my car near my street on Friday around lunch. I froze inside, but I smiled. I said she must have seen a similar car. She said maybe, but she also said it looked like mine. I laughed and told her she should become a detective. She did not laugh back. I poured coffee and acted calm. I said people were always watching women more than men. I said if a man ran errands at lunch, nobody cared. Talia said she was not judging, she was just surprised. I said it was a busy week, and I did not owe anyone a map of my day. Then I changed the topic and asked her about her weekend. At my desk later, I checked my phone. Bryce sent a message that said he missed me and wanted to see me again soon. I did not answer right away. I told myself answering too fast would look needy. I liked feeling like I had power, even over him. Ethan texted me at noon. He said Avery's school had a small event on Wednesday and asked if I could come. I wrote back that I would try. I did not say yes. I wanted Ethan to feel unsure. I wanted him to remember that my time mattered. That evening at home, Ethan was quiet but not cold. He made dinner and asked Avery about school. Avery said he had a new reading chart. Ethan said he was proud. I sat at the table and watched them, and it felt like I was watching a show I used to star in. After dinner, Ethan asked if we could talk for 10 minutes. He said he wanted to understand what was going on. I said nothing was going on. He asked why I kept pulling away. I said he pushed too hard and then acted hurt when I defended myself. He said he did not want to fight. He said he wanted simple truth. I said truth was that he turned small things into big things. He asked what small things. I said my phone, my time, my mood. He said he only asked because he felt a change. I told him he was too sensitive. I said I worked with anxious patients all day, and I did not want to come home to another anxious person. Ethan nodded slowly and said he heard me. Then he stood up and went to the office corner. I noticed something on the hallway table, a sticky note in Ethan's handwriting. It said, "Bring forms." No date, no details. I asked what it was. Ethan said it was just a reminder for something he needed to do this week. I asked what forms. He said it was boring paperwork and not worth talking about. That answer bothered me. Ethan used to explain everything. Now he kept words inside himself. The next day, I tried to act normal again. I messaged Bryce and told him I was busy, but could maybe talk soon. He answered with a laughing emoji and said, "I always like to make men wait." I smiled at the screen and told myself I was still the person with choices. On Wednesday, I went to the school pickup line. Cars crawled forward like a slow parade. Parents stood in little groups and talked. I stepped out and waved at a mom I knew, Lena. Lena asked how Ethan was. I said he was fine, just stressed. She asked if we were okay. I said of course, but then I added that Ethan had been weird lately. Lena asked what I meant by weird. I said he checked things too much and asked too many questions. I said it felt like being watched. Lena's eyes widened a bit, and I could feel the attention around me. I liked it and hated it at the same time. Another parent, a man named Rob, walked by and nodded at me. He said he saw Ethan at pickup last week, and Ethan looked tired. I said Ethan liked to play sad, so people would feel sorry for him. Rob looked uncomfortable and said he hoped everything was okay. I said it was fine, and I said it loudly, like volume could make it true. When Avery came out, he ran to Ethan first, because Ethan was also there. Ethan had arrived early. He held Avery's hand and thanked the teacher. Then he looked at me and asked if I could talk later about the school event schedule. I said we could, but I said it like I was doing him a favor. In the car, Avery asked why Dad slept in the other room sometimes. I gripped the steering wheel. I said Dad was being dramatic and needed space. Avery asked if Dad was mad at me. I said no, and I said Dad was just sad for no reason. Avery went quiet. At home, Ethan was in the kitchen with his phone. I heard a soft beep like a recording app starting or stopping. When I walked in, he slid the phone into his pocket. I asked what he was doing. He said he was setting reminders. I said he already lived in reminders. He did not smile. Later that night, I went to my mother's living room. Janelle had invited me over to talk. Darla was there, and Cassidy came too. My mother offered snacks like it was a meeting. Janelle asked how things were with Ethan. I said Ethan was acting cold and controlling. Darla asked what he did. I said he questioned me about my time and acted like I was guilty. Cassidy said men always wanted to punish women for being social. I nodded and felt supported. My mother said, I should not let Ethan rewrite who I was. She said I was a strong woman and Ethan could not handle it. I said Ethan wanted a quiet wife. Darla looked uncertain and asked if I had done anything that could make Ethan worried. I felt heat rise in my face. I told Darla she always took the man's side. I said she did not understand what it was like to be married to someone who kept score. Darla said she was only asking because the situation sounded serious. Cassidy said Darla was being negative. My mother said Darla should trust her sister. I pulled out my phone and showed them my vague posts. I said people understood me. I said Ethan was the one with a problem. Cassidy suggested I post a short clip about emotional control and walking on eggshells. My mother nodded like it was smart. Darla asked if that would make things worse. I said Ethan needed to learn there were consequences when he tried to control me. I told myself it was not cruelty. I told myself it was fairness. When I got home, the house was quiet. Ethan had already put Avery to bed. I walked past the office corner and noticed Ethan's laptop was open to a clean file tree. I only saw it for a second before he closed it. I caught words like Archive A and Archive B. He said he was organizing old files. I went to the hallway closet to grab a blanket and heard the click of a locked drawer nearby. The sound was sharp and final. Ethan stepped out and asked if I needed something. I said no, and I acted casual, but my chest felt tight. In the bedroom, I saw a new calendar reminder on the wall schedule. It said, meeting, personal, and the time was 10:40 a.m. I asked Ethan what it was. He said it was a personal errand and it was handled. I asked handled how. He said properly, and he did not explain. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling. I told myself he was doing this to scare me. I told myself he wanted power. But in the dark, I also felt something else. I felt like my story was slipping out of my hands, one quiet click at a time. The next few days felt like a test I did not agree to take. Ethan did not chase me anymore. He did not ask for long talks. He did not beg. He moved through the house like a calm worker, doing tasks, closing drawers, setting alarms, and keeping his voice flat. That calm made me feel cornered. I told myself he was trying to punish me with peace. I told myself he wanted me to look crazy so he could look good. I said I could not let that happen. On Thursday morning, I woke up and saw his phone screen light for a second. A small alarm label flashed. Paper drop. It ended fast. Ethan got up and went to the kitchen. He made oatmeal for Avery, cut fruit and packed a small lunch. It looked like a routine he could do with his eyes closed. Avery asked if we could all go to the park after school. Ethan said he would see how the day went. I said maybe, but I did not look at Avery. I was watching Ethan. I wanted to find cracks. I wanted a mistake. At breakfast, Ethan asked if we could keep adult talks away from Avery. He said Avery was hearing too much. I said Ethan was the one making things heavy. Ethan said he did not want to argue, and he asked me to agree to that one rule. I said I agreed, but I also said he should stop acting like a judge in our home. Ethan nodded once and looked back at Avery. After they left, I checked my phone. Bryce had sent a message asking if I missed him. I stared at it, then I wrote a short reply that said I was busy. Bryce answered that I always made things hard and then acted innocent. I felt a pinch of anger. I told myself Bryce did not understand the pressure I lived under. Still, I liked that he wanted me. At work, I told Cassidy that Ethan was doing a silent treatment thing. Cassidy said men used silence to control women. I said yes, and I said it louder than I needed to. Talia looked up from the printer and then looked down again. The printer spat out a blank page and made a soft whine. I felt my face heat, like the room itself was judging me. That afternoon, Ruth texted Ethan in a group chat about Avery's weekend plan. I saw the message because it was on the family thread. Ruth asked if Avery could sleep over Saturday because there was a small winter fair at the community hall. Ethan answered that it was a good idea and he would bring Avery. Then Ruth added that she hoped everyone could keep things peaceful for the child. I read that sentence 3 times and felt insulted. I told myself she meant me. I texted back that I was always peaceful and that Ethan was the one who made the home tense. Ruth replied that she did not want to fight and she only wanted stability for Avery. That word, stability, felt like an attack. I told myself they were building a story about me. On Saturday, I dressed like I was going to win a public game. I chose a clean coat and neat boots. I did my hair. I told myself I would look like the normal wife with a normal family. Ethan arrived with Avery at the community hall first. I could tell because when I walked in, Avery was already holding a paper cup of cocoa, and Ethan was already talking with another parent. The hall was crowded. There were tables with crafts and baked goods. There was a small stage with a microphone. People smiled and waved. I saw Cassidy near a wall, already holding her phone like she was ready to catch moments. Ethan saw me and nodded. He asked if I wanted to take Avery to the craft table. I said I would, but I said it like he was assigning me chores. Avery grabbed my hand and pulled me toward glitter glue. He said he wanted to make an ornament for the tree. I said okay, and I forced my voice to sound light. While Avery worked, I watched Ethan. He moved through the hall and spoke to people like a polite neighbor. He laughed at a small joke from Ruth. He helped an older man carry a box to a table. He looked normal. He looked steady. The steadier he looked, the worse I felt. Cassidy came over and asked quietly if Ethan was still acting cold. I said yes, and I said he was trying to make me look bad. Cassidy said I should not let him. She said I should own my truth. I liked those words, even though my truth was mostly a story I repeated. At the long snack table, my mother Janelle joined us. She kissed my cheek and asked if I was okay. I said I was exhausted and Ethan was making life harder than it needed to be. Janelle said men like to keep women small, and she said it loud enough that a few people turned their heads. I liked that. I liked the attention turning. Ethan walked over with Avery and asked if we could move away from the crowd to talk about pickup times for the week. He spoke like he was discussing homework. I felt anger rise. I said he was always trying to control the schedule so he could control me. Ethan said he only wanted clarity for Avery. I turned that into a performance. I sighed and said he cared more about systems than feelings. A woman near us looked uncomfortable. I kept going anyway. I said a husband should want his wife, not just want order. Ethan's face stayed calm, but his eyes looked tired. Cassidy laughed and said Ethan was all spreadsheets. I laughed too. I hated myself for needing the laugh, but I also loved it. Ethan asked if we could not do this here. He said we were at a child's event. I said he always tried to silence me in public. Ethan said he did not want to silence me. He wanted to protect Avery. Then he looked at Avery and asked if Avery wanted to show Grandma Ruth his ornament. Avery walked away with Ethan, and I stood there with my mother and Cassidy, feeling like I had been ignored. I told myself Ethan was doing it on purpose. I told myself he was taking my child away in small steps. Darla arrived late and asked what was going on. I said Ethan was acting like a victim again. Darla asked me softly if I could stop making it a show. I snapped at her. I said she always doubted me. Darla said she was not doubting me, but she was worried. I said she was just scared of conflict. Later, a man on the stage asked parents to gather for a quick group photo near the banner. People moved together. Phones lifted. Cassidy lifted hers too. I saw Ethan standing with Avery and Ruth, all three looking calm. I walked into the frame with a big smile, like nothing was wrong. After the photo, I leaned toward a small group and started talking again, like I could not stop. I said Ethan was cold at home, and that he acted like I should be grateful for basic effort. I said he did not know how to be a real husband. I said it was lonely living with someone who treated love like paperwork. I expected Ethan to react. I expected him to step in and argue. I wanted it. I needed him to give me proof that my story was right. Ethan did step in, but not how I hoped. He asked me, very quietly, if I could stop talking about our marriage in public. He said it was not fair, and it was not safe for Avery to grow up inside gossip. I said I was not gossiping. I was telling the truth. Ethan said truth did not need a crowd. In the parking lot, after the event ended, I tried one more push. I asked if he even cared that I felt unwanted. He asked what I meant. I said he had not reached for me in months. I said he made me feel like a roommate. Ethan said he pulled back because he did not trust me. I laughed and said he was making excuses. He looked at me for a long time, then he looked down at the car keys in his hand. He did not shout. He did not insult me. He just said he would not fight in a parking lot. He said he would not do drama. He said he would handle it properly. I told myself Ethan's properly line was just a threat to scare me. On Monday morning, I went to work like normal. I wore my best coat and kept my chin up. I told myself I was still the main person in my own life. Around lunch, my phone buzzed with a message from Ethan. He said he needed me to meet him in the lobby of his office tower at 2:15 p.m. to discuss Avery's schedule. He said it was important and he wanted it calm. I read it twice. I told myself he finally wanted to talk like an adult. I left the clinic early and told my manager I had a family issue. I walked into the office tower lobby and felt the air change. It was clean and cold, with shiny floors and quiet people. Ethan was not there. I texted him asking where he was. He did not answer. A man in a plain jacket walked up to me. He asked if I was Melisande Rook. I said yes and asked who he was. He said he had documents for me and he needed to confirm my name. I said I did not accept anything, and I asked if Ethan sent him. The man said it did not matter if I accepted it, and he said he would record that I was identified. He said he was not here to argue. Then he held out a thick envelope. People in the lobby turned their heads. I felt heat rush into my face. I asked if he could do it somewhere private. He said he could not, and he said this was the location he was instructed to use. I grabbed the envelope because I wanted it to stop. He nodded once and walked away like I was a desk he already finished using. My hand shook. I stepped to the side near a tall plant and opened the envelope. I saw my name printed in big letters. I saw Ethan's name. I saw words that looked official and heavy. I called Ethan again. This time he answered. He asked if I got the documents. I said he was humiliating me on purpose. He said he did it in public, so there would be no confusion later. I said he was cruel. He said he was being lawful. I skimmed the pages. I saw the word petition. I saw temporary orders. I saw lines about finances and the home. I read slower because my brain kept trying to reject it. I asked Ethan if he really filed for divorce. He said yes. I asked when. He said it was already filed and already active for now. I read a line about the home and felt my stomach drop. I asked if it meant I could not enter the house. He said the temporary order gave him exclusive use of the home right now. He said it was not a punishment, it was a safeguard. I said that was just a fancy way to throw me out. He said it was a way to stop chaos. I kept reading and saw the schedule for Avery. It was typed out like a school plan. I asked if he was taking my child. He said no, and he said it was a temporary schedule with clear pickup and drop-off times. He said the goal was stability for Avery. I said he was using Avery to hurt me. He said he was protecting Avery from adult mess. I left the lobby fast and drove toward the courthouse because I thought I could fix it with my voice. At the public counter, a clerk told me what I had was real and active. I asked how it could be active so fast. The clerk said temporary orders could start quickly, and they told me what steps I could take next. I felt like I was talking through water. I walked outside and called my mother. I told her Ethan served me papers like I was a stranger. She said Ethan was trying to ruin me. I called Cassidy and told her to post something. Cassidy asked what happened. I said Ethan kicked me out. Cassidy said I should go live and tell my truth. I said yes, but my voice sounded thin. Then my phone buzzed with a text from Ethan. He said my personal items would be available at the curb by 6 p.m., labeled and bagged. and he asked me not to come to the door. He said a neutral standby would be present to keep things calm. He said he would follow the order, and he expected me to do the same. I drove home with my mouth dry. When I turned onto my street, I saw it before I even parked. My bags were on the curb, lined up neatly like trash that was still respected. There were labeled boxes and a simple list taped to one bag: my coat, my shoes, my bathroom items, the things that meant I lived there, past tense. I got out of the car and walked fast to the front door. I saw the new lock shining in the porch light. I tried my key anyway. It did not fit. I tried again, harder, like force could change metal. A calm man standing near the sidewalk told me I needed to step back. He said he was only there to keep the peace. He did not touch me. He did not raise his voice. I looked through the window and saw Ethan inside, farther back in the hallway. He did not come closer. He did not smirk. He held his phone in his hand and looked tired, like someone who finally finished a long job. I shouted through the door and asked if he was proud of himself. He did not answer me. He only texted one line. He said to check the papers, and he said, "Pick up